Pace truck going to pull down pit road right here, and we'll settle in for 250 laps. It's the Craftsman Truck Series at Bristol. Eckes outside, Sanchez inside. We are underway at Thunder Valley.
There was that momentum, that big roll off the top. Eckes easily cleared Sanchez. Kyle Busch is going to try to do the same thing.
See Kyle Busch up there in the second. Oh, Sanchez. Big time wobble.
And look at, oh, Gray just had to back out of the gas because Sanchez came down.
That's Taylor Gray, number 17, black and white, inside of the 71 and 45.
Caden Honeycutt in that 45 for Nice. There's Majeski, that 90. Ooh, Raja slips up off the bottom.
Did you see that big run the 45 got? He was up high, and he had a big, strong run off the corner. Good momentum. That could be a good sign for us to see some good 2 and 3 wide racing tonight.
I think it's slippery out there right now.
I think it is, too. We've seen that all day long.
Sanchez has recovered, gathered up inside of Kyle Busch. They're racing for the runner-up spot behind Christian Eckes.
Look at that truck wobble off turn 2. He's got his hands full. And look at Kyle Busch. He's already seeing if that upper lane is going to work for him.
Going to school, isn't he?
I think he knows this track's going to go through a big change, and he wants to know what's up top. There's that big slip by Sanchez.
And I will say great job by everyone behind him, because the minute that happens, you got to check up and make sure you don't cause an accident.
See Caden Honeycutt, that 45 truck, excuse me, out there as well. Look like Kyle may be trying to figure out how to work that outside group in by himself if he has to.
Matt Mills in the 42.
Ah, that's a shame.
Try to get it fired up before the leader gets here.
It's been a rough start to the year for Matt. And they were hoping to have a clean race tonight, and already off to a difficult start. He was scored just outside the top 20 when it got away from him.
I don't think there's enough damage to the truck to end his night, but he's going to be a lap down. The leaders were, you heard the spotter say, get her cranked before the leaders get here. The leaders get here in a hurry at Bristol.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think there's much damage at all there, Michael. I'm not even sure that he's going to need to come to pit road unless he feels the vibration.
History says we'll have an early caution, not even 10 laps in, and already the yellow flag is out. Christian Eckes from the pole has led every lap so far. Tonight, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing for the 27th time on the concrete at Bristol Motor Speedway. Early caution. Christian Eckes leads Nick Sanchez, Taylor Gray, Kyle Busch, Raja Carruth, the top 5. Matt Mills brought out the caution, so they have come down pit road. Let's listen to 2 radio.
Obviously, track's just green as slick as came in right there. Pretty good. Happy with it. Just no grip firing off on the bottom at first. Track's got no rubber, so honestly, not surprising.
It's just not handling worth a bleep. He just doesn't like the way it feels. And what he's saying is when he fired off, it was really slippery on the bottom. But he was able to rebound and drive around Kyle Busch, so he found something he liked down there. We're trying to understand what groove is going to be dominant throughout the night. I think what we saw in practice earlier today was that resin down low was peeling up or balling up and running up the racetrack. We're going to get a lot of laps right here and see what goes on.
Yeah, both series we saw run right on the very bottom of the racetrack, and as you mentioned, that resin balling up went out into the second, third lane, and that just almost was non-existent. But all we need is a few trucks to run up there like Kyle Busch was, and that should get that cleaned off, and we may have some great side-by-side racing here.
Eckes once again takes the outside lane. Kyle Busch, who was working the high lane at the start, will restart inside here of Taylor Gray.
Tay Gray, he's been fun to watch this year. I think this kid's going to go to victory lane in 24.
He's knocking on that door, isn't he?
Could be tonight too. I liked what I saw from him early.
He's going to make his Xfinity debut at Richmond in a few weeks, driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. Handful of starts over there. We've cleaned things up. Just over 10 laps in, we'll return to the green flag. Opening stage, 65 laps. Eckes on the jump once again.
Such an advantage knowing that you're the guy that controls that start, like Eckes did.
Look at Gray up on that second lane. He's able to hang right with Sanchez. Nick should get loose down there too.
I think that really bodes well if that second lane is so good. Let's see what Raja can do on the outside of the 7 of Kyle Busch.
Gray made it work. He's up to second. Next man in line when it comes to that outside lane. Phil said it. 71, Raja Carruth, most recent winner.
See Ty Majeski right behind that side-by-side battle, trying to figure out which lane's going to go.
You see Carruth just dives right to the bottom in front of Majeski. Oh, loose.
Hang on to it. Sideways for the 71. Majeski drives by Raja Carruth. And it's like a conveyor belt down there. 2 or 3 trucks get by. Tyler Ankrum in the 18 trying to make it happen, and he will. Next up, Caden Honeycutt in the 45.
Every one of these trucks is going to try to fill that hole and not let Raja get down, but he's going to have a gap now to get down.
He's been loose since they said go, hasn't he?
From 4th to 9th, just like that.
Watch how fast it happens too. He looks good, and then there goes the back end starting out, and then loses traction. Inside goes Majeski.
It actually was 5th to 9th, but you get the idea. You get out of line, you lose the momentum, and you're going to have some ground to make up. We're riding with Ty Majeski, won this race 2 years ago.
There's Connor Jones, the 66 truck on the outside of Tanner Gray in the 15. That's a battle for the 16th spot.
William Swalich looking on in that 1. He's running up on the top side as well. Just behind him there, you see that great battle. That bright yellow truck of Matt Crafton involved in that. Stuart Friesen.
41 is Bailey Curry. His teammate Matt Mills, the one that had the early spin.
I love what I see right now. These guys able to race side by side around here. I'm not sure many people thought that was going to be possible.
And we got a Bristol bump. Friesen said hello to Sawalich, veteran to rookie there.
Welcome to the Truck Series.
Ooh, Crafton slides up the racetrack into Sawalich.
Can't quite make that pass, hanging right there.
He needs that extra room where he can take that truck all the way out to the wall to stay in that throttle. Sure, he's having to pedal a little bit down there on the bottom. Looks like he's going to make the pass now.
You want to know how fast things happen at Bristol? Christian Eck is cruising along with a big lead. Nobody in front of him. That's getting ready to change. And lapping trucks here is extremely difficult. There's the first one he's going to come upon.
Well, that's what impacted him last year. Starts in the pole, wins both stages, leads 150 laps. Inside of 10 to go, lap traffic. He's trying to maneuver it. Corey Heim gets by and wins the race.
Mason Maggio in the 21 goes low.
Very considerate move right there to allow Christian to get by.
Yeah, because I think Christian wanted to go under him, and yet Mason made it perfectly clear, I'm going to go low, you go around the top.
Next truck he'll see, the 90 of Justin Carroll. Then it'll be the 14 of Trey Hutchins, both drivers making their first start of the year.
This is a tight battle. Been watching these two mix it up. Daniel Dye currently running in the 13th spot. Right now, Corey's faster. He's just got a faster truck, and Daniel's holding him up a bit. And you know how Bristol works. You hold me up for a little bit, that's fine. Eventually, I'll have to use my bumper.
Yeah, if there's a gap in front of that 43 truck, it's not going to be long before the Corey Heim truck is going to push the issue. Yeah, very, very considered right there. Just a slightest tap.
You're saying he hit him considered? He was considerate the way he hit him?
Considered hitting, yes.
Yeah, and Daniel's problems aren't over. They're lined up long way behind him, and he's holding trucks up.
But if you're Heim, you qualify 15th, you're frustrated already because you won this race last year and you feel like you should be at the front, and he's getting a glimpse of what this night could be like. So hard to get around other trucks.
But look at the gap already that Corey Heim put on Daniel Dye. That's how fast that 11 truck is.
And what Daniel Dye has to hope now is that the fact that Corey was all over him slowed up Daniel. Now that he's gotten ahead of him, maybe he could start running some more consistent laps. He's got a bit of a gap on Connor right here, but it's not much of one.
There's nowhere to hide at this racetrack. If your truck is the least bit off, there's absolutely nowhere to hide. And these guys will expose you.
Couple of good corners, though. He's able to get a little bit of a gap.
Just shy of halfway in stage one. Christian Eck leads. Taylor Gray, Sanchez, Bush with just the top 5 at Bristol.
Welcome back to Bristol. Truck Series action. You see.
Outside work, made a couple of passes, trying to stay on that lead lap. But look at Taylor. Victory, wow, they're going to get a crash.
And we've got a problem. There he goes. Keith McGee, I believe, in the 22 sideways. Yes, it is. Second caution of the night, 22 to go here on our opening stage.
Taylor Gray went to the top. Stephen Parsons was racing to get around Keith McGee, and they just all converged off turn 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure Keith knew that they were side by side coming up on him.
Check this out, side by side racing. Stephen to stay on the lead lap. Keith's already a couple laps down.
See him come off the hill there.
Yeah, Stephen did an excellent job of not crashing. He recognized Keith was coming up, got on the brakes, and was able to save his truck.
Stephen, you know, he'd gone a lap down because that just got by. However, first truck one lap down at the time of caution. We'll see how NASCAR rules it, but he could very well here get the free pass, get back on the lead lap, as long as they deem he's not part of the caution here since he had the contact with McGee.
Phil, you didn't feel like he was part of the caution.
No. I'm not even sure you can see it.
20 laps to go. Stage 1 at Bristol. Yellow is out for the second time. There goes McGee. Tomorrow on Fox, the NASCAR Cup Series is right here at the last great Coliseum. First official short track race of the year. Ryan Blaney The lead man on our graphic starts on the pole tomorrow. Coverage starts as FS1 at 2, over to Fox at 3. And we're green at 3:30.
What about this strategy, Phil? I think it's a good call for some of these teams back outside the top 15. They come to pit road like Dean Thompson. A lap down is Dean, but the fact that they're all racing so hard for position, see Stefan coming there. But if I'm on the lead lap and I'm not going to get stage points and I'm racing for a championship, I'm going to pit right now and get me some fresh tires.
Yeah, and that doesn't change the strategy if you want to stay out after the end of the second stage, or pit at the end of the second stage and not pit anymore. That doesn't change that strategy at all. Problems on the left rear for the Pop Cells truck. Really important. Now we know we're going to get a caution in about 15 laps at the end of the stage. Really important to be that first truck one lap down, and I'm sure some of the trucks that are one lap down may have stayed on the racetrack. Looks like Lawless Allen may be one of those trucks that did.
Check out the damage on the 7. How'd this go down?
He's currently third. And you can't imagine how he got to third, but watch this.
Yeah, Dean Thompson is going to slide up in that 5 truck and block Kyle, and he's just going to turn hard left. Majeski realizes he needs to give him room, and then Kyle's going to get the spot back from Nick Sanchez.
That is just remarkable. See what Majeski saw.
You heard him pedaling that throttle. I'm sure out of the corner of his eye, he said, here comes that 7 truck.
Guess I was lucky that Kyle was, that was you behind Kyle. Yep. I just didn't want to cut it right front to ruin a race like last year.
He wasn't worried about Kyle as much as he was
His
himself.
right tire.
Majeski said, I didn't want to hurt my race, and he just let him go.
With Stefan Parsons being involved in that last incident, no free pass given here. So we update 23 trucks on the lead lap. Sawalich, one of those, he got caught speeding. So that will impact him as we have the restart here with what will be 13 laps to go here in the stage after we add a lap. Also caught speeding Spencer Boyd. He was already 1 lap down. He too got the speeding penalty. And Brett Holmes got a penalty for going through too many pit boxes. He had already fallen 1 lap in arrears, being scored right now in 29th, but we'll have to drop to the rear for the restart.
This could be a wild 12, 13 laps here we're going to see with this restart late in the stage. Differing agendas. Kyle Busch trying to win a race and doesn't care about championship points. Other guys like Christian Eckes wants to win this stage, put a playoff point in the bucket.
Well, if you go back, and I know it's early, but we did show the playoff leaderboard as we came on the air tonight. Eckes hanging right down around that cut line. They've had some things not go their way so far in 2024. So Michael talks about a playoff point. You take the stage points, anything you can get, because it all adds up when you wind your way toward the playoffs throughout the summer.
Remember, the 2 winners we've had, that already takes 2 of those 10 spots away.
The playoff field 20% full. Eckes outside lane, 13 to go, stage 1.
We saw Eckes take the lead and get to the bottom when he started on the outside against the other competitors, but Kyle Busch is having none of that.
Kyle jumps to the lead from that inside lane. Here comes Sanchez. Not going to be able to get there, or is he? Eckes trying to slide down in front of him.
Well, the 17 of Taylor Gray got sandwiched there. Trucks passing him on the inside and outside.
That's Zane Smith in the 91. You see the left of your screen there. He's moved inside the top 5.
Former champion that's back running in the series part-time this year is Zane Smith, driving the 91 for MHR.
See this blue and white 71 of Raja on the outside of Ben Rhodes in the 99. That's a battle for position. Right around the 9th spot.
Talked to Ben Rhodes. He said, we didn't qualify like we wanted to, but we've got a fast race truck.
Hang on. Announcer jinx. Right behind him, short track ace, Grant Enfinger, battle for the lead. Eckes into Kyle Busch.
Eckes wants this playoff point. We know how important it is to him. Kyle Busch just trying to hold him off. Wonder how aggressive the 19 truck will get against that 7.
I go back to that move that you talked about that Kyle made in traffic. That got him from 4th to 3rd, helped him on the choose, which allowed him to be on the front row for the restart. It just opened the door for Kyle. He's taken advantage, and now 8 laps to go here in the stage.
Top of the show, we talked about who can beat Kyle Busch. You said he's certainly the favorite, and man, has he showing it.
Man, look at that. Tanner Gray in the 15. He was working hard behind the wheel. Slid outside. And we track the free pass position, watching that 75 of Stephen Parsons. He currently now is the first truck 1 lap down, being scored in 24th. Should get it with 7 to go in the stage, now 6.
Not with
That's
Dean Thompson.
Yeah, Thompson's there, yeah.
And as is Lawless Allen. This 33 truck's been solid. These are some good trucks that are battling for this free pass position. There's that 33. Stephen had a good turns 1 and 2. He was able to nose ahead of Thompson. Whoa.
See Timmy Hill, the 56 truck, moving to the outside of Lawless Allen.
There's battles all over this racetrack. Kyle Busch is trying to hold off Christian Eckes, and these guys are battling for their life. There you see the gap that Kyle's has. Pretty comfortable right now, if you can be comfortable at Bristol.
Coming off of turn 4, 3 laps to go in the stage. It's Busch, Eckes, Sanchez, Majeski, and Zane Smith. Ben Rhodes continues his climb up to 8th as he goes around Caden Honeycutt. Infinger is there as well.
Watch this little nudge that Ben Rhodes is going to give Caden Honeycutt. Just ease him in the corner a little bit, move him up the hill.
Keep your eye on this 99 truck all night long.
No harm, no foul, right?
Well, for Caden Honeycutt, you feel fouled.
You remember.
You feel fouled?
It felt like a flagrant foul.
No whistle, though.
Uh-oh, little lap traffic.
Final lap of the stage. Kyle Busch out in front of Christian Eckes. Kyle going to win stage 1. Eckes finishes 2nd. Sanchez, Majeski, Zane Smith, the top 5. Taylor Gray fell to 6th. Ankrum was 7th. Rhodes ends up 8th. Honeycutt and Infinger, the final trucks inside the top 10. For Kyle Busch, that's his 3rd stage win at Bristol. And that's the most of anyone. We'll update the free pass when we come back. 65 laps in for the tailgaters at Thunder Valley. stage. We're not sure how the strategy will unfold, but should we get pit stops, let's remind everyone of the pit procedure under caution here at Bristol.
You go down into turn 1 and past the middle of turns 1 and 2, you go down on the apron and enter the pit road off turn 2. Go all the way around this racetrack on pit road, down on the bottom, and exit off of turn 1. So pretty unique pit road. A lot of time on the pitting surface. A lot of time to make a mistake as well. So you got to be really careful with your pit road speed.
Based on what we're seeing strategy-wise, we encourage you to remember that procedure at the end of stage 2 because they might not be coming right here. Everybody wants to maintain that track position.
You see that green light, top middle of your screen. That means pit road is open. Who's that first truck?
Taylor Gray.
I think it's Taylor Gray. The 17 is going to make it down pit road. Here comes Raja. Here comes Corey Heim.
A lot of guys staying out. We see that yellow truck just off turn 2 there. That's Lane Riggs. He pitted earlier, so he's got tires.
He was 17th at the end of the stage. So with these drivers pitting, he'll work his way inside the top 15. Nice break and a nice call and strategy for them. And we saw that Stephen Parsons had made a pit stop earlier. He did hang on, get the free pass. He was the first truck 1 lap down, so he'll be 24th, but back on the lead lap.
Great look at that HendrickCars.com Chevrolet for Raja. There's that 17 of Josh.
Yeah, for the 17 of Taylor Gray, a strong start to the race for him. He said that truck is just 2 numbers too tight right now, so a little concerned, and he did spin the tires. And you see a little issue getting into the pit box right now for Rajah Cruz in the 71 as well.
Slid through that box, Josh. Had to back him up. That's going to be costly, but not a lot of trucks on pit road. Still a mistake you can make early in the race and still come back and win. You make that on your last stop, no more trouble there.
The good news is they didn't compound the mistake by pitting the truck when it was outside the box. That would be a penalty. They waited to service it until he had gotten back in the box.
And then I think during the pit stop, the truck fell off the jack. So Rajah's going to lose several spots.
By the way, no one is in the window to go. You still got to make another pit stop later in the race. Stage 2 on the way. In just 2 weeks, pro football is back as Fox brings back the UFL. It kicks off on Saturday, March 30th. with the USFL champion Birmingham Stallions taking on the XFL champion Arlington Renegades. Kickoff weekend continues Sunday, March 31st on ESPN.
That's serious football right there.
Love it.
I do too. Skip Holtz came to Talladega, got to hang out with him.
You're just a name dropper, you know that?
Yeah, I'm going to drop another one on you. Denny Hamlin said it's just like the NFL, only they got less rules, and that makes it more fun.
I'm going to drop one on you.
Who are you going to go to?
Regan.
Well, Adam Corey Heim took the opportunity to pit right there under that yellow for the stage break. Reason for a little bit tight with his truck, but also they are playing the long game right here. Already telling him to save fuel. They want to shorten up that final pit stop and try and leapfrog some guys on the racetrack.
There's talk about tires and fall off and why these guys are able to stay out. Our top 13 trucks stayed on the racetrack, have not pitted yet because Kyle Busch's fastest lap that he's run so far was on lap number 60 of this race.
And that's amazing. And Kyle has picked the outside. He got the lead from the inside, moved it up top for this restart. See how that goes.
How about Lane Riggs? Spin in practice, qualifies outside the top 25, but a little strategy, restarts here inside the top 15. Kyle Busch getting that jump in the outside lane on Christian Eckes.
Christian with a good run off turn 2, clears Nick Sanchez.
See Tyler Ankrum, the 18 side by side with the 91, the red and white 91 for Zane Smith, and the battle for 5th.
And look who's just creeping. That 98, of Ty Majeski, just top 5. He's going to be there all night long.
Both the ties doing good tonight, Majeski and Ankrum.
And a nice early part of the race for Ben Rhodes as well. That 99 right behind this side-by-side battle.
I don't know how you can move through the field as quietly as Ben Rhodes has at Bristol, but he's just tiptoed his way to a solid position, 7th right now. And Zane Smith, he's a series champion. He's a Cup regular. He's been quiet all night, but here he is inside the top 10 running 6th.
Quiet but confident and solid. He needs a good run too. You get beat up in that Cup Series a couple weeks. It's nice to come back to the old stomping grounds and put it on them.
There's Riggs in the 38.
Chase Purdy, the 77. Here comes Grant Enfinger. Never finished outside the top 10 in a truck race here at Bristol in that 9 truck.
Currently 13th, so he's got some work to do to keep that stat alive. You know, at first they play nice. You know, you see a bump here, a bump there, but sometimes they become multiple bumps as the laps wind down. You can see Crafton very aggressive there against Enfinger.
Matt Crafton's looked really good in the early portion of the season, 10th this evening.
There's Daniel Dye. The march to stop suicide on board for the 43 truck.
Working on Sawalich, another one of those drivers that's already made a pit stop. He came under caution, lap 48, making his first truck start of the year.
It's a battle for 14th.
These pictures are incredible, aren't they? Just how close and tight things are. Take you right on board with the driver. Nice run off the corner there for the 43 of Dye.
And I love to listen to Daniel's work with the throttle. He's going to be able to make that pass. Nice move by Daniel Dye.
Trucks look so good with the lights bouncing off of them here at Bristol.
They do. The speeds are incredible here, and they look even faster under the lights.
And those walls painted red and white, that looks awesome as well.
Kicking it back.
Kyle Busch consistently running laps in the 1570s. His fastest lap of the race is 1569.
Where was he, Michael, when he went out and made that early run in practice, like 30 seconds, something like that? We're like, what's going on with Kyle Busch?
We're talking about things that just didn't look right to us. That was the most glaring thing that looked wrong.
Here comes Corey Heim, our winner last September here.
These are drivers that pitted lap 71, so they're starting to make those tires work.
You know, with what we saw in practice, it's really interesting to me that the bottom is still the dominant line. I know there's a lot of Cup drivers in their buses right now watching these cars and or these trucks and seeing exactly the lines they're running. It looked like maybe all that resin down low would get burned off by the time we're this far in the race, but the guys are just digging down on the bottom.
Kyle Busch already into the lap trucks. Mason Maggio, the 21, will be the next one on the hit list.
Not quite halfway through stage 2 at Bristol. I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but Kyle Busch is leading the way. Just over 100 laps in. It's the Craftsman Truck Series racing for the 4th time this season. We're live at Bristol Motor Speedway. Christian Eckes started on the pole, was good early, led the first 52 laps. Lost the advantage on a restart to Kyle Busch, who has led the last 49, and Busch out front right now. Great story developing in Lane Riggs, who has worked his way into the top 10, played a little strategy after qualifying 28th earlier today, but the second generation driver has got it all figured out right now here at Bristol.
Races into the top 10, and it's surprising and lucky he even has a truck. He spun out coming off turn 4, kept it out of the wall, qualified horribly, but a great call by the team to bring him to pit road, get those tires, and now raced inside the top 10.
Yeah, tough start to the season for Lane Riggs, but we knew it was just a matter of time before this truck really showed what it's capable of.
Daniel Dye right up on the back of the 77 truck, putting a little pressure on Purdy. Bama Buggy's machine.
This race has just got to be mentally draining for a driver, because no matter where you are, you've got something to deal with. And here's Kyle Busch, who felt comfortable out front, but now has to go around the lap truck of Ty Dillon. That allows Eckes to close in. Dillon was 24th. 23 trucks on the lead lap, 24 laps remaining, stage 2.
Eckes is heating up Kyle Busch. He ran him down as Kyle worked through that traffic. 19 truck looks strong. See, just behind those two, the 2 of Nick Sanchez. He's joined this party up front.
Sanchez has to be having a lot more fun tonight than he did last fall here, because he started in the rear. Oh, look out. Mason Maggio has it get away from him, and he might lose it yet. Look out.
Look at Raja around the top. He's been making that outside work. Been watching his lap times during the break, and he's got solid lap times, and he's running way up the track, as you see Connor Jones there doing as well.
Well, Carruth actually did get a penalty on that last pit stop that we talked about when he slid through his box, but he's making a comeback from the rear to 20th and looking for more outside of Taylor Gray. 17 spent a lot of the early portion of this race inside the top 5, but he's lost some track position, back in 19th now.
And if
leaders working through lap traffic.
Spencer Boyd there going down low. That's Stephen Parsons in the 75. He's the last truck on the lead lap, and Kyle is there.
Yeah, the 32 of Brett Holmes is already a lap down. Stefan's been running the high side. Actually caught and passed Ty Dillon and drove away from him, but right now he's got the toughest cat in town beside him.
Let's give some love to Holmes. You talked about the fact he's already a lap down. Good start to the season for the 32 team. Top 5 at Daytona, 11th and 12th the last couple of races. Not where he wants to be tonight, 26th and a lap behind the leaders, but he's had a really good start to the year. There you see the numbers.
You know, you talk a little bit about the races we've had this season, Adam. We've had a couple of races, Daytona and Atlanta, on drafting tracks, and then we went out west to Vegas and ran on the 1.5 miles. This is our first short track, so you're going to really find out who you are here tonight.
71 trying to get 19th away from Taylor Gray here, Josh.
Yeah, and you guys are talking about the fact that Raja Carruth was running the top. The team came over the radio, told him, hey, you're one of the only ones running the top, but you're making it work. Keep digging, keep going. And Raja had one of his best races at Bristol last fall. Looking to back that up right here in the spring, guys.
Raja now second best of the drivers who made a pit stop at lap 71. Should that be a factor when they return to the pit lane. Best of the bunch, Corey Heim, who's rebounded up to 14th after the pit stop.
There's Zane Smith. That's a gaggle right there that he's been a part of. Tyler Ankrum solid down on the bottom there. Great run again for that 18 truck.
The 52 of Stuart Friesen running behind the 18. There he is right there. What a great comeback it's been for him.
What a terrible practice he had. I mean, just didn't see any speed out of the 52. But, man, when they threw the green flag tonight, he's been marching. Look at there. Started 23rd all the way up to 7th. I think he's got a really fast truck.
I was talking to his crew in the garage after qualifying earlier today, and I said, man, this thing could get wild tonight. So many variables as we add 50 laps and some unknowns on what will happen in regard to strategy. He said, I just hope we're not a part of the wild. So far, he's kept his nose clean, and as you guys talked about, has rallied back from a effort that he didn't like in qualifying and finds himself inside the top 10 as we hit 10 laps to go in our second stage.
Talking to Stewart yesterday, he said this is by far one of his favorite racetracks here at Bristol.
You're going to find a hard time, Phil, finding one of those guys down there that won't say that. You know, you want to be the best on one of the toughest tracks in America, and that's what Bristol is. And if you can go out and conquer this place, it's such a special feeling, not only for you as a driver, but your team. You know, they want to have that victory at Bristol under their belt as well.
He was second here, 2018, 3 top 5s for Friesen at Bristol.
Yeah, moving in on Ankrum right now in that battle for 6th.
I want to get all you can here as we wrap the stage, because we do anticipate everybody's going to make a pit stop at the end of stage 2, and that likely will be the final stop of the night. 7 to go. Chase Purdy is 13th in the 77. The 9 is Grant Enfinger. And William Sawalich trying to make a play in the outside lane.
He's been able to rally here of late. Truck really coming to him. Look how tight these things are. And look at Daniel Dye having to move up the hill. And here's a battle for the lead.
Dean Thompson into 5, a lap down.
There's 2 trucks in front of him trying to stay on the lead lap.
3 wide in front of our race leader. Kyle Busch gets through. Less than 5 to go in the stage. How did they make that work?
And Christian Eckes split a couple of trucks 3 wide off the corner.
66 of Connor Jones was doing his best to stay on the lead lap. He did get passed by Kyle Busch. The 13 right in front of him, Jake Garcia, is the next guy to go possibly a lap down.
And look at the mess in front of him.
Garcia's 21st. 3 to go, stage 2.
Look at the 71 truck up top. Roger Carruth trying to hang on as well.
Some really good trucks in jeopardy of going a lap down as we wrap things up in our second stage. And some good ones have already fallen a lap behind Kyle Busch and others.
Raja said, Jake, let's just stay side by side here and not give that 7 truck a room to get by us.
This for second, Sanchez and Eckes. Final lap, stage 2. Kyle Busch in behind Garcia and Carruth. Carruth, his teammate. Get out the broom. It's a sweep for Kyle Busch. He wins stage 1 and stage 2. It's the 4th straight year a driver has swept the stages here at Bristol. None of the prior 3 have gone on to win the race.
Ooh, Adam.
But none of them are named Kyle Busch.
Adam dropping the knowledge.
Who's won here 5 times. I might have had an assist. All right. If you're going to win at Bristol, you got to earn it. Look out, trouble all around. Kyle Busch in charge here at the world's fastest half mile. It doesn't get any better. Racing under the lights in Bristol, Tennessee. Some drivers might actually refute that because they've had a rough night. But from a fan perspective, this place is just special. And for the first time ever, the trucks racing here on the concrete twice in a season. 250 laps tonight, a 200-lap playoff race here in September. You always get your money's worth.
And these guys on pit road are pumped up because it's time for the money stop. This is going to be make or break you. You got to do your job as a driver, get in and out of the pits, and these guys have to execute this pit stop.
You see the points payout. Eckes, Sanchez both getting 17 tonight. Majeski's been solid. Ankrum, another good evening, came in scoring the most points so far this year. He adds 9. Ben Rhodes, a wonderful comeback. Taylor Gray, impressive as well.
Here they come, guys.
Busch, Sanchez, Eckes, the top 3 pit stops under caution ending stage 2. Regan.
Nick Sanchez started second, currently running second, and happy with his truck right now. The balance was neutral, became just a touch too free for him as they ran. Not enough to change anything, though, exactly what that team wants to hear. And the 7 of your leader, Kyle Busch, he started the race really loose, but then the truck went to the tight side, meaning the front wouldn't turn like he wanted to. Describe the tires as hockey pucks for tires by the end of that run. They'll make a small adjustment to help that out. Josh?
For the 19 of Christian Eckes, he said it can't be as aggressive as he wants to be. Just doesn't have the grip he needs, so they're going to make an air pressure track bar adjustment for him. For the 98 of Ty Majeski, said that truck is just too tight. He says, I need to be able to drive it better, take a swing. Team told him we'll make an edge and air pressure adjustment to help you out.
Big adjustments going on.
Big trouble for Majeski. The tire changer was pointing for him to turn the wheel to the left. Couldn't get the tire off. That's going to hurt him.
You just can't afford to lose track position, especially now that you're into the second half of the race.
And more than likely, for most of these teams, the last time you're coming to pit road.
Right.
91 of Zane Smith leaves pit road. The reason Raja is in there so crooked is he had to drive around another truck to get in this pit box. Relatively small pit boxes here, obviously, with the size of this racetrack.
At least he got it stopped that time, Phil.
That's right.
There's a whole lot going on here. You know that? We'll reset it all for you and line it up for the final stage when we return on FS1. This place is so good, it's got multiple nicknames. Some would say it's Thunder Valley, the world's fastest half mile, the last great Coliseum. Always produces a good show. Stage 1 is done. Stage 2 is behind us. And now we are ready for the big finish at Bristol for the Craftsman Truck Series.
See Nick Sanchez, that 2 truck, going by some lap trucks. Had a loose wheel, had to come back down pit road.
Raja Karuth pitting outside the box was penalized. Speeding for William Sawalich, so he will drop to the rear. And we talked about Ty Majeski and long stop. Don't worry about it. He was 4th when they came off pit road.
Heck, if any more people got penalized, he might be leading this
right.
He said this was the money stop. It's hard to overcome a penalty on your last pit stop.
Yeah, just think about Nick Sanchez and William Sawalich where they are now. They're buried. It'd be very difficult for them to get back to the top 10.
And look at Corey Heim, who tonight spent a lot of time outside the top 10, right? But they played the game. They were patient. He's kept it clean. He's going to restart inside the top 10 here. He's got his best running position of the evening as we go green in the final stage.
And he knows where victory lane is here.
Yes, he does.
Had it done here last fall. Now this will be an interesting restart. Kyle Busch takes the top. We saw him get the lead up there, but he also held off Christian Eckes on the bottom. See if Kyle Busch can do that again. He's pretty good. Probably got a good feel for what he needs to do here. What do you think?
What would you rate him? 5-star at Bristol? Final stage for the tailgaters. Kyle Busch on point again.
Just that little bit of momentum he gets from the launch is enough to get down in front.
Look at the run Eckes got off the turn.
Tyler Ankrum hanging around. Teammates behind Kyle Busch. Majeski charging in the 98. Maybe a little contact there with Ankrum. I think there was.
How about Crafton? That yellow truck there battling up in the top 5.
Great run for Matt.
Oh! There goes Majeski.
He's going to have contact.
Ben Rhodes, his teammate, hits him. And the caution is out for the 5th time tonight. And we are lucky, as we were just underway, that we didn't have more trucks get involved.
Several trucks behind them sliding sideways. There you see the damage to Ben Rhodes' truck. Solid run for that number 99. I think Majeski will have to come to pit road. Pit road there.
Stephen Parsons took the wave around. And when you do that, you just hope we get a quick caution. He got it. Now he can pit, and he's going to be in line with everybody else, and a little bit fresher tires than everyone, because not a lot,
yeah,
right?
Not enough to matter.
But a small advantage.
Yeah, but back on the lead lap, that's the critical
That's
part.
big, yep.
That was wild off turn 2, wasn't it?
Sure
it happened
was.
so fast, just like everything at Bristol. A little bit of contact, and around went Majeski.
When Stephen took the waiver on that left Ty Dillon as the only truck 1 lap down, so he will get the free pass.
Let's see what happens here as they exit turn 2. Majeski in the 98 down there on the bottom.
Just gets loose.
And bounced up the hill. Yeah. And watch Matt Crafton. You talked about what a great run he's having. Poised, just pauses off the gas, doesn't do anything abruptly, and squeaks by Majeski.
Yeah, Ben wasn't near as lucky as Matt was, because Ty was coming down the racetrack right in his path.
I wonder what Duke Thorson's reaction was to that. Crafton going by on the outside. Rhodes gets collected with Ty Majeski. All teammates.
Let's watch this real time. This is going to be wild. That little bit of a looseness there shot him up the track. Ben didn't have anywhere to go, like you said.
Ty would have probably been fine had he not got into the truck outside of him and then turned him back towards the inside wall.
Hey, the good news for Ben Rhodes is that he got some stage points, because once again, maybe on the outside looking in when it comes to a top 10 finish, doesn't have one yet this year.
That's a terrible feeling. Just a little bit of a slip, and it happened so fast here at Bristol. Couldn't overcome it.
As you mentioned at the very top of the show, one of the best short track racers in the country. It can happen to anybody. These guys are on the edge.
Look at Matt Crafton.
Unbelievable.
In that 88 on the outside.
How about Zane got by just before Ty came back down the hill into Ben.
Let's see if Daniel Dye, he's running up in the 11th spot, has a picture of this. Oh, yeah.
You knew he would.
Look at him getting it woe down before he got in the back of Grant Enfinger.
Nice heads-up move by Daniel Dye.
And he's being scored 12th right now. Qualified top 10 every week so far, and looking for his second top 10 finish of the year is Daniel Dye.
Certainly feel bad for Ben, though. Absolutely nowhere to go. Had worked his way up into the top 10 from a 16th place starting position.
You saw how close Christian Eckes was to getting up beside Kyle Busch, almost getting the spot. Be interesting to see if Kyle takes the outside again. I assume he will. But I think right now it looked like that tire change and the adjustment, Eckes had a little bit more speed. That's going to be fun to watch to see these two battle it out.
So we talk about those drivers up front, and they've been there all evening. Kyle Busch, Christian Eckes, Tyler Ankrum starting to surface once again at the front. No surprise, because that's what he's been doing all season long. He's third. Behind him, Matt Crafton. We've touched on the three-time series champion who's off to a great start this season. Behind him, a driver who got the title a few years ago, Zane Smith. Running a few races this year for MHR and looking good tonight at Bristol. Corey Heim won this race in the fall. They fought track position but played some good strategy tonight. He finds himself sixth. Grant Enfinger, top 10 every time we've been to Bristol, is seventh right now. Huge attaboy again. Can't say it enough for Lane Riggs, the rookie, who's fought through a lot of adversity today. And here we are, 100 laps to go, and he's in the 8th position, Regan.
Well, and Adam, I talked to Lane before he got in the truck just a little while ago, and a lot of concern about how good that truck was going to be. They made substantial changes to it, not only before qualifying, but after qualifying as well. Very free most of the day. They were able to get that truck pretty good to start the race, as we've seen, as he moved up pretty quickly. As of right now, the truck started just a little bit too tight that last run. They freed him up on the last pit stop just a little bit so that it would be a little better early on in the runs, but doing a great job in the 38 right now.
Great comeback for him today through all that team has faced. Same for Stuart Friesen. We've touched on their challenges earlier in the afternoon, but they find themselves in a good spot. So does Bailey Curry right behind him.
And, you know, we talked about having the money stop late. You couldn't afford a mistake. If there's enough cautions and there's people ahead of you that are involved, obviously you can battle back into position. So, you know, you need some cautions late if you're Nick Sanchez, if you're Raja Carruth, William Sawalich, to fight your way up inside the top 10.
You know, Michael, Adam and I were walking through the garage here, and we were just naming off teams off the top of our head. And we came up with 24 full-time teams that are capable of winning any week.
And this is one of them right here. It's been a drought for him, but he's got the truck tonight to do it.
Now the 7 truck, he starts lighting his tires up in turn 1 and 2, so you can learn from watching. You can always learn something. You waited too long to clean your tires off there, and if you're honest with yourself, you know that's right. You're right up front with the best trucks right here. You bowl as good as the people you bowl with, so pay attention, you learn stuff.
What's that mean, Phil?
I love the bowling reference. You know, you bowl with better bowlers. I bowled with a Hall of Famer, Mike Albee, last week in Phoenix.
I'll be darned. No wonder I'm terrible at golf. I golf with you.
Eddie DeHaan on the spotter stand is a truth teller, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
And he tells it in a way that just makes me smile.
Yeah, if you're honest with yourself, he says.
I might have had to answer that. Well, I'm not sometimes.
Racing so good at Bristol, sometimes we fight for position under caution.
Majeski, I don't know. This truck's damaged. He's fallen back. See, Stephen Parsons just ahead of him. Lawless Allen in the 33 down there. He's had a solid night. Just trying to get one of his laps back here.
Restart, 98 to go. Busch and Eckes on the front row.
Eckes needs to hang beside that 7. Oh, you see the tire spinning on the bottom, but he's there. He's there.
Much better this time for Eckes on the restart. Can he hang in the inside lane?
Kyle drives it hard down into the corner.
What about that? Right around the top.
Kyle Busch flexing his muscles once again in the outside lane.
Eckes is there.
Not over yet. Little contact from the 19.
Michael, you mentioned how strong that 19, he's got loose.
Whoa. Kyle with a save.
And look at that 88. Crafton creeping in there. How bad does he want to win at Bristol? Oh, and you see Eckes sideways.
You think maybe he has a tire going down after that contact with Kyle?
Heim up on the top.
Zane Smith, the 91 truck, right behind that yellow 88 of Matt Crafton. Here comes Grant Enfinger.
What about how racy this place is? Man, this is good stuff.
Zane Smith going for 4th. That red and white 91 inside of the 18 of Tyler Ankrum.
They know it's time to go. You get inside of 100 laps, you're getting close to the end.
Well, you get to feel the sense of urgency on that restart and the way Eckes went after it.
How about Grant Enfinger grabbing that 6th spot?
Watch this. There's a little bump, a little tap, gets him on the inside.
Kyle got a little bit loose right before that tap.
Battle for the lead. Eckes is back, and he's going to make the pass.
There goes Christian Eckes.
Easily makes the pass.
I felt like the adjustments on the 19 truck really lit that Napa blue truck up, and he is flying right now. Look at that.
I was concerned that he went for it on the restart, and after the contact, the truck might not respond, and he wouldn't have what it takes to get there. A few laps later, not only does he make the pass, but he's starting to put some distance between himself and Kyle Busch, with Matt Crafton now just behind the 5-time winner here at Thunder Valley.
Man, I love what Matt Crafton's doing. This is so much fun. 47 years old is Crafton, trying to chase down Kyle Busch, make that pass there, and then go get after the 23-year-old Christian Eckes, who's leading this race.
You remember back when we would interview Matt after a race that Kyle Busch won? He was like, man, I really want to beat him. I hate losing to him. Look at the big lead Christian Eckes has pulled out, almost a second now over Kyle.
Now this is when, if you're Christian Eckes, everything's great. Let's just run some laps. Log some laps, guys. Calm down in the back. I like where things are right now.
Yeah, don't do any side-by-side racing. We don't need that.
Yeah, we talked so much about how this race unfolded last fall for Eckes, winning the pole, both stages, leading 150 of 200 laps, but he was unable to close the deal. If he wins tonight, he's not going to be near as dominant, but if he's able to bring home the checkered flag, it not only exercises the demons of 2023, but he also is able to pass arguably the greatest all time in the history of Bristol Motor Speedway, and that being Kyle Busch, to go out and get it done.
What has he won here? 22 times in the 3 series?
Yeah, 23 if you count his win on dirt.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just throw that in there for good measure.
Yeah, led over 5,000 laps here at Bristol.
I say arguably the greatest all time because Darrell Waltrip won here 7 consecutive times in his career, so I thought I'd work that in.
Michael gave him credit for 6.
Yeah, he did.
He wasn't wrong. He did win 6 in a row, but he actually won 7.
He won 5 in a row, too.
What do you say, Josh?
Yeah, Adam, and to add to your conversation, remember the word for Christian Eckes earlier was redemption. He did not forget what happened here last fall, and before that last restart, came over the radio to the team and said, we're going to get him. We're going to get Kyle Busch, and that's why you saw that aggression, because not just what happened before, but who we saw in front of him and how good he knows his truck is.
And now it becomes about traffic management as he works through some of the lappers.
Crafton and Kyle doing the same thing right behind him, and you see Kyle Busch cut into that lead a bit in that exchange of traffic.
Crafton got hung up a little bit trying to get by those lap trucks and lost a little bit of ground to Kyle.
Has Kyle changed his line? Looked like a little high down in 3 and 4. Is that where he wants to go, or did it just slip up?
See, now he's about a half a truck width off the bottom of the racetrack, down in 1 and 2.
There he goes up top. That's on purpose, trying to see if there's anything there for him to close that gap on Eckes.
He knows he has time. He can experiment. He has a little bit of a gap on Crafton. He's even higher down in 1 and 2 than he was the last lap.
This is where the role of the spotter is so big, because you want, if you're Eckes, your spotter to say, here's what he's doing behind you, letting you know if he's gaining any ground. And speaking of picking up spots, how about Sanchez? Had the extra pit stop, and they have rallied.
That's impressive.
2 truck is 11th right now.
See just up ahead of there, that yellow truck. Lane Riggs still hanging in the top 10.
.77 laps to go. Christian Eckes back out in front of Kyle Busch and Matt Crafton. We're going side by side on FS1. It's been an outstanding night of racing here at Bristol for the Craftsman Truck Series. Grant Enfinger racing Corey Heim. Two short track aces when you talk about competition in this series. Taylor Gray, back-to-back top fives on the season. Jumping inside of Lane Riggs for ninth.
And inside the top 10, here comes Nick Sanchez.
Wasn't sure he was going to be able to get back up into the top 10, and he's not done yet. Long way to go.
Last year started at the rear, as I pointed out earlier in the race. Drives through and does some positive things, and after having to make a second stop, coming through all the traffic again, he's passed a lot of trucks here in the last couple of races. Nick Sanchez.
We saw during the break, the 77, Chase Purdy had to go to pit road. I think he had a flat tire. He's returned to the track right in the middle of this mess.
Tom Majeski, the 98, went behind the wall. Thinks he had an engine issue. There he is right there.
Let's give some love to McAnally Hilgeman Racing, because Christian Eckes is leading. Zane Smith is fourth. Tyler Ankrum is fifth. Coming into tonight, Ankrum had scored more points than anybody through the first 3 races of the year. That's a team that expanded, doubled their fleet from 2023 to 2024. Had to go out, find people, put all the parts and pieces together. And not only are they doing it, but doing it successfully and putting themselves in position on a weekly basis to go out and win races.
It's been impressive. Saw Bill in the garage this morning, and he's all smiles. He said, Mike, I'm really proud of what we've been able to put together, and the people we've assembled, and the drivers, the job they're doing on the racetrack.
And I asked him, how was you able to expand so quickly? And so he said really it was people bought into what Christian was able to do last year. The year he had, all the wins, how well he ran, people bought into that. That's why Tyler Ankrum is over there now. That's why Daniel Dye is over there now.
Still there?
Speaking of Daniel Dye, let's hop on board with him. He's running right now just inside the top 15, 14th. Got Bailey Curry ahead of him, and you can see back there, there's Raja trying to overcome his issues.
Yeah, Sanchez was able to mow through the field fairly quickly to jump back up into the top 10.
It's going to be tough sledding now, though, isn't it, Phil?
It is.
See the numbers that I just talked about. MHR getting it done this season, getting it done tonight. All 4 of their trucks inside the top 14, 3 of them inside the top 5.
Christian Eckes, comfortable lead, but man, he's coming up on a scrum. There's a bunch of trucks. As you see, the Bama Buggies truck is taking it to the infield. Look at all that mess he's got to go through here with Kyle Busch breathing down his neck. There you see Kyle down on the bottom.
And the advantage for Eckes, just under a second over Kyle Busch.
Yeah, up tight, whole run already. Simple, copy that. Same lap times as the leader, same air. You're better than he's in traffic.
It's good information, but my tires feel like hockey pucks, I think he said earlier.
Feels like he blew through his front tires. Just outside of 50 laps to go. Still has not lost contact with the 19 of Eckes.
You know what Christian Eckes wishes? That this was a 200 lap race like in the fall instead of 250.
The leader was 3 wide there down the back straightaway. I think he agrees with you, Adam.
Too close for comfort.
And how does it feel? Eckes dominated a year ago, had to get away from him late, and he glances up in the mirror and sees Kyle Busch right behind him. It's got to be tough.
Well, I said earlier, a race here has got to be mentally taxing, especially for a guy like Christian Eckes, who's trying to bounce back from that disappointment of a year ago. Disappointment that was compounded by the fact that that race would have got him in the championship 4. Then he goes to Phoenix and wins. You never know how things are going to play. But, boy, you know that he's thought about that over and over. And he talked about it today after winning the pole. 50 to go.
I'm sure right now Christian Eckes is not thinking he needs a caution flag. about Matt Crafton. He probably would like a caution, Regan, to maybe catch up to the front two.
Well, Phil, I definitely think he might like that. Having a fantastic night right now. I checked with him earlier in the day on what they needed to do to make that next step up and get that win and get him back in the winner's circle. He said it's just the little things right now. We need to get a little bit of everything if we're going to get that win and get me out of that winless streak that he's in currently. One of the primary things was to get short run speed. They've had everything tonight. He has been quiet on the radio.
See Stefan right now trying to stay up there and be in the front free pass position. Popsells.com on board that Chevy.
Christian Eckes has caught Ben Rhodes up front just ahead of these two, and it's having a hard time getting around him. That's a good line running up top. There you see Eckes to the bottom and Kyle Busch right there.
That means that right now Ben Rhodes is in the free pass position.
How about these finishes for Rhodes, our reigning champ so far this season? 30th, 28th, and 13th. Running 20th tonight, and he's one lap down, as Phil pointed out.
Crafton's closing in on Kyle Busch. It's tightening up at the front, Adam.
45 to go. We step aside, but we go side by side. So you missed nothing on FS1. I'm so thankful we were side by side.
And I'm so thankful they couldn't hear us up here. Oh, wow, whoa. I mean, that's crazy action.
The body language was crazy. I thought for sure Kyle Busch was going to get the lead. Now he might lose second. Crafton is there. Top three running together with 34 laps to go.
Matt's going to have to tuck in behind Kyle Busch because of the lap truck.
He doesn't want to, Phil. He sees that bottom. He likes that bottom. Christian Eckes has done a great job. He saw the move that Kyle Busch made on the outside. He's moved up there, trying to take that lane away from him. I know there's a bunch of these cup guys smiling right now, seeing the multiple grooves on this racetrack. Run high, run low, run wherever your vehicle sticks the best and goes the fastest.
That's going to bode well for that race tomorrow, isn't it?
It's going to be so fun tomorrow afternoon. But we got a barn burner right here tonight.
They're going to swap. Oh, Stewart is
Friesen
around
with a problem. He was inside the top 10. It's our 6th caution of the night.
Looked like he had some contact with Nick Sanchez. I saw sparks off the 2 truck as well. There it is.
Oh, wow.
Both were in the top 10. 8th for Friesen, 9th for Sanchez.
Squeezed into the wall, it looks like. There's the squeeze I was talking about. Bam. Sanchez with the run on the high side, and Stewart tried to close the door. And look at that.
Yeah, no question that Nick was squeezed into the outside wall. Turned Stewart around. Obviously, with a caution out, people with trouble like Nick Sanchez, Stewart Friesen will probably come to pit road, but none of the trucks running up front are coming to pit road.
Everybody's got tires, but there's just no way.
They're going to take them home.
Yeah, if you have track position, you're going to give it up here.
That brake action was incredible that we had. Check this out.
Watch Kyle. Watch that 7 truck.
Watch the 19 thread the needle. See a little bit of a bobble there by Eckes. Kyle's right there.
Was able to drive up beside him. A little bit of a nudge. Now Christian's going to give Kyle room on the outside. Kyle's going to pull right up beside him. Looked like it might have been over there, but Christian was able to get back in the throttle and get that momentum from the high side.
I think we said it was over, actually, when he made that move during commercial.
But watch this run off turn 2 for Eckes. That's just great racing on a really tough racetrack. Christian tried to shut the door there. Kyle said, not having any of that.
First truck 1 lap down here is Ben Rhodes. So the defending champ gets back on the lead lap. He scored 18th.
I don't know. I think if you come down, you'll pull at least half of them down, so you'll restart somewhere around 9th, 10th. I mean, I think I can win it, but we are definitely the 2nd place truck, maybe 3rd. Tough.
Ooh, he's thinking about pitting. How fun would that be for us?
Oh, that would be a show.
I'm not sure how many trucks he'll drag down the pit road with him, though.
But I do think some trucks outside the top 10 is going to give
I think without a doubt. There's no pump the tires up a little bit, Michael, for this little short run we're going to have.
So I said we're going to have 18 trucks on the lead lap, and you're going to have right around 25 laps to go when you get the restart. The thing I would worry about here is, do you get a rash of cautions when you bunch them up late, which doesn't allow you to take advantage of the fact he came down pit road and got the tires,
yeah,
you know?
We only have 28 laps to go right now.
You know, he said he thought he could pull some. I think he went down low real early here to see if he could get some to come with him. Maybe looked in the mirror, see no one was coming. Said, I'm staying out.
And he almost hit the orange block there. That would have been committed to pit road if he had hit that.
He's a professional.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
He's going to miss that
We've
block.
got all these college basketball tournaments going on. That was a shot fake from a championship driver right there, wasn't it?
But nobody went for the fake.
No one went for the fake. Traveling, number 7. We're going the other way.
Charles Denight, crew chief for Christian Eckes. Just hoping this driver can hold him off.
What do we do now? We've been able to restart on the bottom and get beat, or top and get beat. Bottom and get beat. He hasn't been able to take the lead on the restart versus Kyle Busch all night.
I like the outside for Christian Eckes. Keep that momentum up. Obviously, he gets to launch first.
Forever I said he needs it to stay green. Then the caution comes out, we get a reset. Now it's like, what do you do now? There's so many questions to be answered. Talking so much about Eckes and Kyle Busch. Matt Crafton has been solid in the latter portion of this race. Zane Smith, and we know what he has meant to Truck Series competition over the years. Tyler Ankrum, one of the hottest drivers out there when you talk about the beginning of 2024. Grant Enfinger is 6th, and he's never finished outside the top 10 here. And when you look at his record on short tracks, it is outstanding. Let's get a little Matt Crafton radio.
All right, buddy, you're doing a hell of a job. Get them blowers right. I want you to be mean the rest of the night.
Oh, I like that.
J-Rod, tell him to be mean.
He might be my story of the night, the way he charged up to the field, and he's as good as these front two trucks. We're going to line up.
He started 20th, Michael.
He's going to line up on the bottom.
Great start to the year for Crafton.
Matt likes that bottom.
Yeah.
So this is so good right here. Can Christian Eckes do something he hasn't done all night? And that's beat Kyle on the restart.
Tyler Ankrum going to restart outside row 3. Hasn't won in 104 races. For Matt Crafton, it's been 84 races since his last victory. And both will be in the hunt here. We'll restart with 24 to go.
I feel like I'm in the race. My heart's pounding. These guys are going to go at it.
During that side-by-side, I think we're moving around and bobbing and weaving.
Look at Zane up on the outside of row 2. I think there's going to be contact. What do you guys think?
You think we'll get to the end without another caution?
I doubt it. Christian's got to do his job here.
Pace truck is in. Could be the money restart. Eckes and Busch on the front row.
He did it.
He might bring Zane Smith with him.
They continue side by side for second. Eckes feeling good out front.
Zane hangs in there on the outside. Has a nose up beside of Kyle. Now Kyle gets that spot. He can go now chase that 19 of Eckes.
Ankrum slides in behind Matt Crafton.
He'll be 5th. Lane Riggs going high in 3 and 4. Trying to get around Grant Enfinger. Oh, did he get too high? No, he made it work, and he's even gaining on Heim. Look at that move into 3.
Lane Riggs turning it up late, trying to get back to the top 5.
Not a big surprise. Remember, the limited schedule finished 3rd at IRP last year.
Getting his season turned around, too. It's been a rough start this year. He dives deep into the corner, doesn't he?
He has just gotten better and better as the night has gone on. Talking about Lane Riggs as we hit our Craftsman 20 to go. Christian Eckes leading Kyle Busch. Raja Caruth rejoining the party. He's back in the top 10.
Comes the 17 of Taylor Gray. Up to the 8th spot as he gets by the 9 of Grant Enfinger.
Some really good comebacks today and tonight when you look at these drivers inside the top 10.
This is a great battle with the high line working for Riggs. He decides to tuck it down to the middle a bit here. You can see Gray's going to try to take advantage of that move.
While we're watching this, Eckes has opened up a 2nd lead over Kyle Busch.
There's that lead.
It's a huge lead.
And you know what? By getting the caution when we did in the restart, shouldn't have a lot of lap traffic, not near as much, at least, for Eckes to work through late in this race compared to what he saw a year ago.
Phil, we've been in this position before. You look out that windshield, you focus on your job, and in the back of your mind, you're thinking, please no caution. I've got this thing handled. If you guys behind me just keep it straight.
Grant's going to try to make his way back by the 38 of Lane Riggs.
Raja with a good recovery. You mentioned it, inside the top 10. See if he can get him some of that.
Lane is committed to that high side. It worked for a while, but it looks like it's going the other direction right now.
Talk about good starts to the year. The numbers for Raja: 3rd at Daytona, 8th at Atlanta, the win at Las Vegas, and looking at another top 10 here. He's 9th.
He had 4 top 10 finishes in his career coming into this year, Adam.
So you're saying 4 in a row to start this his 2nd season full time is pretty good?
Pretty good, yes.
So he makes the move around Lane. Now he's going to focus on Grant Enfinger.
12 to go for Eckes.
What's that, about 3 minutes? It's going to seem like 30.
Oh my gosh.
Not only to Eckes, but to me and you.
My heart's pounding.
Mine too.
11 to go.
Fast lap, that lap by Eckes. Kyle Busch a 1/2 tenth quicker.
That's all he needs to hear.
10 remaining this time by. Daniel Dye back there in 13th. All 4 MHR trucks inside the top 15 tonight. 3 of them inside the top 5. And there's Daniel Dye.
March to Stop Suicide is going to take place in Daytona Beach, 21st and 22nd of April. This is a great cause this kid and this team supports.
13th spot for Daniel Dye, really doing a nice job.
Now look what Kyle's doing. Spotter is going to be in Christian's ear if he makes any gains on him at all about that line that Kyle just took.
Down to 8 to go. Starting to work through some of those lappers. It was 6 to go last year when Corey Heim got by Christian Eckes.
Here come the lappers you were talking about, Adam.
Adam, you might have thrown that in there.
Did I go too soon?
Maybe.
Was that the announcer jinx?
It felt like it could have been. Let's see. He is so fast, though. Look at that. Able to run a little bit faster than Kyle the last 2 laps.
And that truck works as well on the high side as it does the bottom, so
that's what you need. You got to have a versatile truck. When you see guys going up top, you got to be able to move up there and take their line away if you need to.
The advantage has stayed consistent. 5 to go for Christian Eckes.
Here comes Kyle.
Oh, he's gaining.
Yeah, he's shaving off of it here. 4 to go this time around. 0.6 of a second the advantage for Eckes.
He took one of them away right there on that lap. 10th better. You remember just a couple laps ago it was 0.9 of a second. It's down to a half second now.
And less right now. You can visibly see the gains Kyle's making. Is he going to have enough time to get there?
Tenacious is that 7 truck. He's going to fight to the bitter end.
2 left for Christian Eckes, trying to hold off Kyle Busch. Down to 0.4 of a second, the advantage for the 19.
And shrinking.
We'll see the white flag this time around. Busch is high, Eckes is low. Half a mile to victory for Christian Eckes. Down the back straightaway.
He's going to
look at Christian Eckes. Last year he left with heartache. This year he leaves with a trophy. Eckes delivers at Bristol.
Use it all day long. Hell yeah, good job, guys.
And Kyle Busch got there. He was 0.2 of a second behind, right on his bumper.
Eckes gets his 6th career win tonight. Kyle Busch was going for his 6th win at Bristol, but comes up short. He was 2nd. Zane Smith ends up 3rd. Matt Crafton 4th. Tyler Ankrum, another top 5, comes home 5th.
You know, I said at the top of the show, Adam, that Corey Heim held off Kyle Busch head-to-head at Martinsville, and what a big win that was for him. This win for Christian, beating Kyle at Bristol, that has to be really special for him.
Especially as we've talked all night about what happened to him last year here.
And look at that truck. It's got the right front all scuffed off of it. That's Bristol battling right there.
Kyle got right to him. One more lap, it sure would have been interesting, wouldn't it? Just over 1 truck length.
The final margin, 0.2 of a second. It was right around a second with about 8 laps to go. Kyle digs in, goes after it, comes up short. Congratulations to Christian Eckes. Said today was all about redemption, and boy did he earn it tonight. Chevy stays undefeated in 2024. Corey Heim won here last fall. He was 6th tonight. Taylor Gray 7th. Raja Caruth, another top 10. 8th. Grant Enfinger 8 for 8 at Bristol. Another top 10 for him as well. Came home 9th. And Lane Riggs stays in the top 10, finishing 10th. But this night, belongs to Christian Eckes. First time he's delivered at Bristol.
It's going to taste so sweet, isn't it?
I just am so happy for he and that team. A great effort, and he was able to hold off the best in the trucks ever.
Let's go to Josh.
Christian Eckes, you used the word redemption earlier after what happened here in the playoff race last fall. How sweet does this feel?
Oh, man, it's so sweet. Yeah, there's a lot behind this win. I talked about it earlier, and the fans here are crazy. I love it. There's just so much behind this win, you know, from last year, missing out on the championship 4 and losing the race with 5 to go. You know, to come back and redeem ourselves was our #1 goal, and not only that, but the first 3 races, how terribly they've gone. We've had a lot of issues, and you know, to come back and run really good, it just shows the resilience of this team. So just super pumped, ready for the next 19 races.
Christian Eckes, your winner at Bristol.
Well, Kyle Busch comes home second place tonight, battling a tight truck all night long. Kyle, looked like you did everything you could at the end, all over the racetrack, trying to find a lane to get there. Maybe one more lap. What do you think would have happened?
We would have wrecked. I mean, the crazy part about it is we fought loose all through practice, all through qualifying, all through the beginning part of the race on older date codes of tires, and then we put on the newer date codes of tires and instantly tight. So just not being able to prepare and practice on what you expect to race on hurt us, you know. So we tightened up all day, and obviously I don't think we were as tight as the 16 or 19, whatever number it was at the end, but you know, just track position. I let him go early in that run to just go burn his stuff off, and track position at the end, just the aero effects let him be in front of us and got him a win. So didn't have enough rubber on the road to outdo him, but thanks to Spire and Brian and everybody on this team for giving me a chance to come out here. Definitely learning a lot. It's frustrating to not run as good as I'm accustomed to, so we got some work to do.
Thanks, Kyle.
A bit of frustration from Kyle Busch, but always a wonderful perspective. He and Eckes lead all but 10 laps. And when you look at Eckes tonight, the fact that he led 150 last year, doesn't get the win. Tonight leads 144, leads less, but most importantly, he led the last one. And he does redeem himself from that playoff race a season ago. It was a thriller, right to the line. Christian Eckes by that much over Kyle Busch. And he's going back to the playoffs again with a victory at Bristol. The hits just keep on coming for the Craftsman Truck Series. Tonight at Bristol, next Saturday afternoon, part one of a doubleheader with the Xfinity Series. We're going road racing at COTA.
What a great facility there. I love that run up into turn one. It looks like you're going about 300 feet.
Just so much action around that track. Bouncing over the curbs, a lot of fun to watch.
He's going to get him a Craftsman toolbox.
He's already got it.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful scene, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Victory in the Craftsman Truck Series here at Bristol.
I love that he acknowledged how important this race was tonight after what happened a season ago. Didn't back away from it. Looked it in the eye, the adversity and the disappointment, and comes out and delivers.
Bill McAnally, his owner right there, one happy guy.
That's how he looked this morning when I saw him, Phil. He must have had a pretty
He always smiles.
pretty good feeling about this day.
Here's Regan.
Well, Matt Crafton doing everything right tonight. Come home in 4th place, and at one point there, you chased the leaders down. This 88 was looking really good.
Yeah, it was very good. Just really, really good long run speed. I mean, I think we know why it was so good on long run, but I said these guys worked hard, never give up on the old guy, and I said that's what I said. Felt so good to have a group that believes in you and just keep digging. And just, I mean, they bust their butt. I mean, week in and week out, and I wanted to get to them guys so bad, and I was just like, okay, long run. I got them. The yellow came out. Dang it! But like I said, thank these guys very, very much, and this Menards Ford F-150, we'll get it back at Victory Lane soon.
Thanks, Matt.
Matt Crafton's numbers this year: 7th, 13th, 7th, and 4th. I don't need no rocking chair.
Yeah, pretty good start. Pretty good start.
Here's what's happening tomorrow as the Cup cars take over Bristol. Race day begins here on FS1, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Over to Fox at 3. Shannon, Jamie, and Larry have you covered from Charlotte. Chris Myers leads the way here. And then at 3:30 Eastern time, we're all set for the first short track race of the year with NASCAR's Top Shelf. Mike Joy, Clint Boyer, Kevin Harvick have the call. We look forward to that. And we thank you for following along tonight. It was a really good one here at Bristol for the Craftsman Truck Series. And Christian Eckes able to bounce back from last year's disappointment and get his first win of the year. With Regan Smith, Josh Sims, Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Adam Alexander saying thank you for watching and congratulations, Christian Eckes.